This place was usually green when I was younger, but look at it now. Okay, come on. Okay, bring the bowl with you and we'll go that way, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, just watch out for the thorn. Just stay on this side. My mother's family is from this area. Her grandparents are from this area. Let's start with these red ones right here, May. We'll collect some of these ones. And there's so many different stories, but they're all associated with this place. Before genocide, Apaches had a whole different way of life. And a lot of today's generation don't have that knowledge. But it's not their fault that they don't know their culture. It's not their fault they don't know their language. What we're doing is reintroducing our young people to the land, the food, and our traditional ways of healing. Jump. Okay, jump this way. And we're gonna leave these here. So whatever seeds in here is gonna grow back, so throw it out that way. And say, Ahia, thank you for giving to us.
Ahia.
For me, it's just about reconnecting people to who they are, and it starts off small. It's like planting that little seed. Then from there, it's just gonna grow. That's before there was corn. We used to get these.
Good morning, everybody. The three of us are very privileged to be here from where we come from. For us, being on the White Mountain Apache tribe, that's one of the many places that's actually ground zero for American colonialism. And our landscape, which we'll talk about, is very calorie rich, but for a number of reasons, it's considered a food desert. And as you'll see, we'll talk about how tripped out it is, because 70% of all foods consumed around the world today originated by indigenous peoples of the Americas. So the mother sauces that come from the tomato, all the spicy foods of Asia, zucchini, Swiss chocolate, Irish potatoes, it's all BS, man, it's all native foods, for real. And that's some of the information that we want to instill in our own people. So I'm gonna run you through this presentation, and then we'll go over there and we'll shut up and cook, huh? You want to attack a people and wipe them out? Attack their food. Millions of people all across the Americas with complex civilizations, complex trade routes, complex societies, systematically wiped out by some of the first forms of biological warfare and terrorism, right? That happened from starting here on the East Coast. Our food system has been colonized. That's the reason that we don't have that relationship with some of those traditional foods anymore. And colonial violence has never gone away. So when you see statistics like alcoholism, diabetes, and homicide, suicide rates on reservations, those are the physical manifestations of colonialism today in real life. And it's through foodways that we engage in a recovery from historical trauma and promote indigenous healing and self-determination. And when we talk about these things, if some feeling of uncomfort arises in you, don't shut off, but ask yourself why. The first step in this is understanding violence in all its forms.
In my experience in trying to bring buffalo back to the land, a lot of non-Indian people can understand the need to do that and the good it can do for the land. Whereas they can't really understand the need to bring the culture back. We had a self-sufficient economy, and it was all centered around the buffalo herd. Our teepees were made from buffalo hides. We ate them. That was our food source. We dried the meat to carry you through the winter. The buffalo were everything. And of course, the government recognized that. So that's why they decided if we destroy the buffalo, we can bring these people to their knees. And so that's what they set out to do. Well, there's complete devastation without buffalo. The kind of food that the government gives out, the commodity food supply, I mean, just terrible. But people have no choice. I mean, if they want to eat, that's what they get. So the physical realities are hard, but the mental and the spiritual part is even worse. And the buffalo are basically in the same spot as we are. We were almost wiped out too. And so we need to kind of grow back together, and we can help each other. I mean, that's just the way it's been ever since time immemorial.
About 2,000 years ago, maybe there was a giant earthquake. And the earthquake shifted the river and put it where it is today. And since that day, we've been fishermen.
Are you ready?
We're salmon people. And our whole life revolves around the relationship that we have with these salmon. Because we believe that once these salmon disappear, our people follow. Our people, we were one of the last people to be contacted. The government said that there was gold out here, and so people came out in the 1840s, and they were done doing treaties because they were done with all that when they got to California. If you could clear the land of Indians, you could have that chunk of land. So literally, if you were seen, you were shot on sight. 10% of our population survived genocide. And out of that 10%, we are direct descendants. So you're born with a burden of being indigenous. You have to learn how to pass down these traditions and these things that we do to the next generation. And if you don't do this, your culture will be gone.
See, my background is classical French, but all that journey was shadowed by chemical dependency. And everything in my life fell apart because of addiction and drinking and all that really dysfunctional mentality that's around kitchens. It wasn't until I crash landed back on the res that I began to explore the universe of native foods. And that was one of the things that helped me to get clean. What's popping? I see onions.
Yeah, we have red onions, yellow onions. You're looking at pounds and pounds of beans.
Yeah.
As a kid, we grew a lot of beans, but we always picked them like this. We never let them seed out.
Really?
And that's, and then coming to work here and like saving seeds from beans, it's kind of like, I've never done that before,
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
This to me is what I've seen as haricot, the small green beans.
No, these are Anasazi beans.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool, man.
Yeah.
Dude, this is cool, man. Anasazi bean flowers, Anasazi bean blossoms. Watching the farm grow, it's like really cool because like I remember back in the day when it was just you and a couple volunteers and then seeing it grow and grow and grow and seeing more community members appreciate it in the way that like 6-7 years ago we were only talking about,
Yep, yeah.
And we're here now, and there's still a shitload more to do, man.
A lot more to do.
It's cool, When you have food sovereignty, you're free to be self-reliant, to grow your own food, to choose the foods you want to eat, choose the foods you want to put in school systems, and really be self-sustaining or sustainable. And our reservations across the United States are far away from being actually food sovereign. Kawacha, Hubbard squash.
Yeah.
So we're gonna assemble something really simple for you to taste. We brought with us some tastes of the landscape, and we're gonna mix a little bit of Apache land with stone barns because we got some cool stuff. Like this anasazi bean. Anyone familiar with anasazi beans? Well, these were found in an archaeological dig and planted, and they grew, right? Thousands of years passed. These little guys, it grew again. So now they're readily available and able to use. And for us in Western Apacheria, there's all these root vegetables that we eat. There's wild carrots, wild potatoes, wild onions. So we're making like a root vegetable salad, and Chef will give you some tea there. How you doing over there, Chef?
I'm almost done, Chef.
When I got into culinary school, it was like we were left out of world cuisine. But when I started cooking at one of the only 5-star, 5-diamond places on the West Coast, on the menu at the time, there was a Cheyenne River Sioux buffalo tenderloin. And then right on the station over, they were doing a classic salmon roulade with salmon from this tribe up in the Northwest. So right out the gate, I would see that native foods were being used at all different levels of the food industry. It was like the foods were saying, go for it, man, do it. Like, go for it, use us, So now we're building a cafe that will use ingredients that we grew at the farm by Apache farmers that are passed on to Apache chefs or cooks to be used therapeutically for healing. This is formerly a gas station, but we're gonna take it over, and this is the future site of Cafe Gojo. We chose the word Gojo because that's an Apache word that means beauty, harmony, love, happiness. So a lot of cool things of what Cafe Gojo represents. This whole area, we're gonna build the kitchen in like an L shape. Produce from the people's farm, fire burning, and someone cooking. We're gonna build a wall right here, about 4 feet high, so little grandma can see over it, you know what I mean? The way you consume native foods that we'll prepare today, it'll be, yeah, good, nutritious, and all that, but for a group of Apache people, it would be completely different. We would reconnect with those themes of ancestral knowledge and spirituality, prayer, time, and place in a healing way. The White Mountain Apache tribe is considered a food desert. So all the foods that were in here previously as a convenience store, a lot of candies, sugars, chips, those were promoting, bad health. Now we'll be able to order foods that are grown at the farm or that were brought in and purchased from local growers or harvesters or foragers. And you can see people in the process of changing their lives. So we're excited, man. It's pretty cool.
Sword ferns, we need some of those. If there's none close to the beach, then we'll send our fastest runner to get a good stack.
That's you, Zach.
And that'd be you, Zach. Well, John Luke. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's you, Peter. I'm asthmatic.
John Luke. That's right. Yeah, I'll pull out with the motor. You guys just jump right in.
We're fishermen, and once the salmon are gone, it's the end of the world for us, and there's no going back.
Hunt down the climate! Bring the salmon home! Hunt down the climate!
What do we need to get rid of?
Northern California tribes are protesting for the removal of the Lower Klamath River dams in a desperate push to save the critically endangered salmon. But for native youth on the Klamath, such as Sammy Jinsaw of the Yurok tribe, nothing less than their future is at stake.
You gotta think about, as indigenous people, we're part of this here environment, and salmon are a huge part of our life.
We know that the salmon run is directly connected to the health of our community. If you have a bad fishing season, then there's a rise in drug abuse, and there's a rise in suicides. Because when you come home empty-handed, there's that sadness that starts to set in, and that's depression.
I think we should do about 2 more drifts, and then if we don't get anything, try our luck farther up the river.
Yeah.
All right, drag it in.
Whoa.
Fast, back up, back up. Just drag it. Drag it. We're definitely on the wrong side of the river today.
I want some fresh salmon.
I
At
know.
least one.
So the people on the other side of the river, they've caught some good fish in the morning, so they said that they're gonna give us one. So we'll eat that tonight at camp.
All right. We'll give it a thing. How's it going, man? This is our family friend, and he's gonna help us out. He's helping us out because it's important.
There you go. You got it?
Yeah.
We're golden, huh?
Yeah. Yep. Good man.
All right, bro.
Appreciate it. And that's how we do it.
You know, if you got killed earlier today, so you could have some blood loss. But red gills mean healthy fish. If it's not red, then it means that the fish was sick. See these eggs? You can eat them, you can cure them. There's a lot of stuff you can do with the eggs. See? That'll be enough for us to eat tonight. Right here. You put your meat, you put the skin side first like that, into the sand.
Our grandparents weren't allowed to do this. When you fished, you had to do it secretly. You had to cover your tracks. Our ancestors went to war with the government right here on these same grounds to protect our fishing rights and to protect this river.
Come help us, man. We got the feds in here knocking our heads, pulling our nets, saying that we can't fish.
This latest clash between Northern California Indians and the government is the result of a declared moratorium on fishing in the Klamath River.
It was a no-win situation down there. I mean, you couldn't stop this big inboard coming in and ramming your boat. You know, taking you and pulling you in their boat and sapping your head with a big old nightstick.
To these native fishermen, the memory of California's historic mistreatment of American Indians is still very much alive. Beginning with the first official session of the California legislature in 1850, which created a legal loophole permitting the enslavement of California Indians, to the nullification of hunting and fishing rights in the 20th century. To these Indians, this latest battle is as much about civil rights as it is about fishing.
By the time it got here, it wasn't just fishing rights. They were taking our hunting rights. They were taking our whole way of life. So we pulled our armed camps here. We brought medicine men throughout all nations. There was hundreds of people here. They wanted us to stop fishing. And we said, we're never going to stop fishing. Fish on.
Secretary of the Interior Cecil Andrus went to Klamath to mediate the dispute, which has escalated into an armed standoff.
Finally, they heard our demands. Indian health, Indian education, sovereignty. You know, I say hopefully putting our lives on the line here has helped us in our fight to keep our water, to keep our salmon, to keep our way of life. We fight for the freedom of all natives to have our native food.
My grandparents lived down on the river right here, the Morrow River, where it runs into the Missouri. When my parents died, they were going to send us to an orphanage, but my grandparents took us all in. They had cattle and they had a ranching operation at one time, but they were too old to keep that up. So then us boys would have to do my grandpa's work. But still, they gave us a place to grow up anyway. So that was very fortunate. But my grandparents sent us to the Indian boarding school because there was no other feasible way for us to go to school.
The government schools are constantly being built, and through the agencies of the government, they are being rapidly brought from their state of comparative savagery and barbarism to one of civilization.
Basically forced acculturation, forced assimilation into this dominant society. I mean, they even had slogans like, kill the Indian, save the man. That's genocide. Me and friends of mine, we used to talk about how we wish it could be. And once when there was big buffalo herds and when everything was back the way it was, but just thinking that it's probably never going to be. And then when I went to college and I got to thinking about it, I thought that I'm going to start a revolution, go back, restore buffalo to Cheyenne River.
The Great Plains are a hard, dry land. Once up to 63 million American buffalo dominated this landscape. But once settlers arrived to tame the plains country, they discovered the vast potential for crops such as wheat and alfalfa. But the plains are best suited for the grazing of cattle.
All the cattle operators, they want to run their cows on that land. They don't want buffalo running on that land because they're afraid if the buffalo herd gets too big, then we're going to have all buffalo and then they're not going to be able to run their cows. Really what it boils down to is money. But as a student of my culture all my life, what I've come to understand is if we want to maintain our culture, then we have to have buffalo as a vital part of our communities. And we have to restore that.
Standing in unity against powerful agricultural and cattle interests, 27 tribes met in an Albuquerque hotel to form the Intertribal Bison Co-op. Fred Dubray from Cheyenne River was elected chairman.
The buffalo are a symbol of our strength and unity. As we bring our buffalo herd back to health, we'll also bring our own people back to health. And that's what it's all about.
It's a matter of moving together as a united group and trying to take something back that was stolen from us. So I consider this basically Indian war party.
What really was powerful to me was I knew that it's not just me that feels this. People's eyes just light up and you could just see the spark. I wanted to see millions of buffalo running around here by now. Not just the 400 head I have or the 800 head the tribe has. It's hard to not be able to achieve that. And that's why I'm so glad to see my kids involved, because I can see that they're going to be in it for the long haul too. When you talk about growth, it's not just about a herd of buffalo growing. It's about all these things growing in different ways and every different aspect.
I love the noises they make. I mean, when you're surrounded by them, they just sound and feel so powerful when you're in their presence. Like, it makes you kind of take a step back and realize that you're really not all that big of a deal.
Keep you humble.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things.
Just think if there was a million of them, how that would sound.
I don't know how, but we gotta get back to that.
It was funny because I didn't know what food sovereignty was, because you don't hear about those things here. And then this kid, he was going to Brown University and he wanted to do his thesis on the farm. So he came down and hung out with us all summer. And then he asked me about food sovereignty, what I think about it. And I was like, I don't think anything about it because I don't know. And then he was like, come on, like you're doing it. You know, you're feeding your people. It's all about feeding your people. And now I live and breathe food sovereignty. When we first started this project, we talk about capitalism. We talk about how today's society is based upon how much money you make. And our people never measured our standards that way. And now we're in this whole different stage and where we have to increase our production and have to make money in order to sustain this farm. And so we'll not only be marketing it at the farm, but also working with Cafe Guizhou, selling a lot of our products in that store. I grew up farming, and like every res kid's dream, I was thinking, you know, once I turn 18, I'm gonna leave this place and I'm never gonna look back. Started hanging out with the wrong people, doing drugs and in and out of jail and contemplating suicide, and it really affected me. But that's behind me. You know, this is my home. Good morning, Delta. How's everybody doing today? Good. So we're just gonna jump into our presentation for the farm. Food has always been the center of Apache life. Whether it'll be ceremonies, wakes, there's always food there, and that's what brings people together. But we've kind of shifted away from this. When you go to dances, what do we see there now? Soda pop, you know, candy. Probably a huge majority of these kids have diabetes. It's like putting diabetes on a girl's life, you know, when we're supposed to be encouraging her and building her a bright future, yet we have all these sugary and processed foods there. And so that's why this farm is here. We believe that through farming and through reintroducing what's been lost, it'll help our overwhelming rates of health disparities that our people are facing. And working at the farm has brought a lot of healing to my life, a lot of understanding, a lot of meaning to my life. And today I'm no prouder than any time in my life to say that I'm White Mountain Apache. And seeing you guys here in this presentation, it brings encouragement to my heart and makes me want to do more farming. Thank you. That's good. You know, before this whole trend of eating organic came along, our ancestors built this complex food system of wild food that the Western Apache people ate. We didn't call it organic, you know, it was just food.
You'll like these. Get the redder one.
His real dark one. That one had a thorn.
Yeah, that one's shorter. That's a short one. That's the one you butchered the deer on. So like if you were to kill a deer,
yeah,
then you'll butcher it on that bush and use it like a table. For myself, I'm a traditional harvester. I like to forage food. When you're out there walking, you get to hear the birds. Sometimes you get to know the stories about the place where these plants grew or how they were used. But when you're out there actually looking for something, you open a whole part of your mind to something else. You're open to the air, the sun, the weather, the rain, and it's just beautiful. Our elders have introduced me to so many plants from the first season, spring, all the way to winter. It's never Taco Tuesday. You can taste it now.
Whoa.
Harvesting. It takes energy, time, and work. It's not easy. It's not going to the grocery store and grabbing off the shelf. You actually have to put some work into it. So when they're talking about overall health, holistic health, that's one of the ways to really regain a lot of health into our community. Here you go. I'm going to share a little bit about myself and explain why this is so a part of me. I've been clean 16 years, June now. Before I even went to school, the man said, "Stay, come on, Yurikai." My babysitter's boyfriend. We live not far from the river. This man did bad things to me at the river. No one never asks us, "Are you okay? Did something happen to you?" We're always taught, "Shh, nothing to ask me." I stayed quiet 45 years. I lived with that 45 years. I finally could speak about it. I'm not ashamed of it no more. Because I'm here. I survived. I found a passion. I found something a part of me. I learned to cope and heal through harvesting our traditional food and learning the value of what it means to us as Apache people. It's an unconscious connection when we as Apaches were free. Thank you.
I say what we do is kind of like an apprenticeship to truth and recovery. We're not transforming food so much, the food is transforming us. My son, Ari, he used to hide from me under the bed anytime he could smell alcohol on me. Anytime he would, if I was just smoking cigarettes, he would walk up to me and go, is that weed or tobacco, you know? So for me and my son Ari, it was tough for a long time to regain his trust, because this is what it's all about. Recovery is changing behaviors. And part of that is through cooking, through food, through growing food and all those things. All that stuff in my younger life, the selfishness, the violence that come from the colonial mindset, all that, man, ended my first marriage. And for a long time, I didn't believe I could be happy again. You know, I didn't think I had a right to be happy. I was judging myself too bad. But down here's where I got remarried.
That's cute.
You see?
Kasha. She remembers being here.
My sister. My sister. The mountains are changing. This is Mother Earth in change right now, you know? My wife, Jandy, my daughter, Kaya, my son, Ari, my little baby daughter, Tani. We're a family in transformation constantly. I remember being a kid and hauling wood and getting food and hanging out with my dad and my brothers and my family and doing sunrise dances when I was really small. And then now we're back here with our daughter, this little one here. She's gonna make that journey someday, you know? She's gonna reincarnate Changing Woman. And she's gonna carry on those thousands of years of tradition. And I think this place and the other ceremony camps really helped me to see that I'm a dad and a husband and a father first, before a chef. That all my preconceived notions about professional cooking or fine cooking are meaningless when it comes down to the survival and nurturing of our families and people that come to help us. And it's powerful.
The different wrongs that have been done to Native peoples are just so sickening, and that hasn't gone away. I don't know what I can do about it, but I'm gonna try to do something. ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien, gracias.
We noticed Elsie was pretty special ever since she was a little girl. She just decided that she wants to be a scientist, you know, and just started making that her goal. The first science fair she went to, she was like, the first time in my life I was around my kind of people. To tell you the truth, I felt like the stupidest person in the room. But you know what? It felt really good. Those are the kind of people I want to be around. And she said, so now I've got to get back there. I got to find a project that gets me there next year.
I've always looked at myself as someone who wasn't very traditional. But then I realized that virtue of Lakota culture is that it's about a lifestyle and a belief system, things like truth and wisdom, and just things that my dad has taught me my entire life.
She spent all summer talking to you about different things here because she was smart enough to know that her science fair project needed to apply to her life for her to be, passionate.
There's a lot of traditional knowledge that people overlook because it hasn't been substantiated by science. And we talk about that kind of stuff all the time, and that's, I think, what generated her interest in some of this science stuff.
When she learned about how prevalent diabetes was in Native youth, and she said, I'm a Native youth, but I've been eating buffalo meat, and I wonder if that makes me protected from, this high rate of diabetes.
So we'll have buffalo and beef.
She's just always kind of had that desire to do good in the world.
She wants to educate the scientific community with traditional knowledge.
Right.
Because of the westernization of our diets, Native people are often suffering the most from a lot of different diseases here on my reservation, reservations elsewhere. And so if my research can do anything, I don't want it to prove what's already known. I just want it to help people get back to the way that it's meant to be.
You're living your culture all the time. When you get out of bed, nothing going on, you make something go on. Go fishing, or start singing. Improve your stuff. Yeah. Work on your eel hook. Anything. Just start doing something. That's part of your culture. So somebody can say, well, gee whiz, them guys used to work on eel hooks all the time. How come they don't do it no more, What happened? Then you're losing your culture. Because all it is what you live.
The kids I grew up with were adults now. Some are dead, some are locked up. My best friend is in prison. I don't see any of them. But thank you again.
Okay.
And we'll
Love
be
you,
at that
boys.
next.
Guys, be good.
Yeah, love you too, man.
All right. Take care. Be good.
I know that I'll probably die from health-related issues due to the fact that I was raised in a generation where there was no food. We had to live out of the gas station.
We're good to go. It's a reality. We live in a food desert, There's no grocery store here. If you're a youth, you have a better shot of buying drugs in your local community than you have of buying healthy, affordable food. In Northern California, we have the highest suicide rates. We have the highest cancer rates. We're living out long-term genocide.
So we started the Ancestral Guard, a nonprofit youth group. And our goal is just to bring balance back to the relationships between our people and our river. All right. Uriah, where's your life jacket? Go grab it. Rule number 1. Rule number 2 is you always have to listen and be aware of your surroundings. You don't have to listen to us, but you have to listen to what's in here. If you don't feel like you're in a safe position, then you should not be there, okay? Before we even touch the water, we're gonna go down, we're gonna look at it. And I'm gonna go over a little bit of what we're kind of looking for. So should we go check it out? All right, let's grab our hooks. Let's go. You see all these seals right here? These are all kind of our people too. So you gotta respect these guys. A lot of people will be shooting them around for no reason, but you don't wanna do that. So if you ever see your friends when you're older just shooting seals for no reason or anything like that, just tell them, hey, don't do that. Because, they're here too and they're trying to live and trying to eat. So when you come down here, you say hello, you acknowledge. You see how it's flat? And then you see that curl right there? You look in that curl right there. As it comes along, you see how it's coming along like that? You look in there for an eel. What?
Am I seeing eel? Can I look one?
Yeah. Well, if we see, come here.
When we get kids who are depressed, or you get people who don't quite know where they're going in life, and you get them on the river, that gives me hope.
But what happens if we restore this whole river, but climate change and everything, it starts to affect us? What do we do if our salmon don't come back?
Hello, good morning. Welcome everybody to the 6th Annual Apache Harvest Festival. Today we're celebrating who we are and celebrating our Apache foods. It's a great turnout, and it's always great to be amongst our Apache people, or all indigenous people. And so thank you guys, and we'll be starting right over here on your right with Cafe Goujon. We'll be doing a demonstration. So thank you and enjoy yourselves.
All right, so I'll start off. My name is Nephi Craig. I've been cooking professionally about 20 years now, and it's been this amazing journey that's been able to help change my life, and also now I'm hoping that it can help change the lives of others. And a big part of Cafe Goujon is the idea of healing our Apache people and healing our community with foods. So stuff that we're gonna do here in the demo, we'll do that stuff on a regular basis up at the cafe. Okay, so please share with someone, okay? So come on up.
It's a beautiful morning. Won't you guys all agree? Yes, let's hear it's the beautiful morning. There we go. Okay, we're gonna start this morning on our walk through some of the stuff that you can harvest out here in White Mountain. Not in Lidi. That's what we call it, the wild sunflower. You guys usually see them all over on the roadside. And again, you go back to what Chef Nephi was cooking. And they were the petals off of these. So did you guys get to try the food that he was making there? So this is what it is. Oh, I see it. So yeah, seriously. I love what I do. I love helping the people in the community. I love seeing that excitement, especially in the young people's faces when the first time they're like doing this. You know, this is like an experience for them, but it's gonna stay with them. May came from a shattered home. She really did. And we're thankful she's where she's at now because she's learning how to reconnect.
Rat hunting?
Yeah. Pack rat hunting. It's called glushcha, me.
Glushcha?
Yeah, glushcha. Dida koi. Tagi. Tagi. And this one, watch out for these stickers, okay?
Okay.
See, this is what we're looking for. See his stuff?
Yeah?
That means he lives here.
Maybe I can't.
May, come here, help me. Stab him in the head. Oh, you let him go.
What's that?
No, you don't want to run in there. Here, May, take a look at this. This is all rattlesnake. It's a huge rattlesnake. See this?
Yeah.
So he's living in there, so we can't dig in there.
Yeah.
Dini ma asli. Kogo rattlesnake, eh? So we'll go find another one.
You already see
If it comes out this way, you hit it. Okay?
Okay.
You'll find out if we chase it out. Okay, I see him. Don't move.
I'm scared.
Step in front of him. Hit him. Got him. I work with a lot of people that are living in shattered environments, but actually coming out here and reconnecting and healing. This is a different way of coping. It's a form of healing our ancestors have always known, and it still works.
Bright lights, sharing tears, thanking grace for bringing us all here. It ain't lonely on the road when there's love everywhere you go. I've been searching so long. It lived in me all along.
It just takes time. Time and patience.
Burn me in the desert and drown me in the rain. Throw me to the thunder, push me over the flame.
I thought you were gonna strip naked.
I don't feel afraid anymore. I'm a warrior.
I think it's cool to learn things from animals. You look out here and you see the buffalo walking by, or when it's snowing or whenever, how they just look like they're meant to be here. I start thinking about all of the reasons why I do the research that I do, and it's just a really cool feeling, I guess.
It is. That's the way I feel every day when I go out and work with them. But your whole approach into the science part of it is just taking it to a way higher level. So it's pretty cool for me to see that too.
I don't know. It's the same passion.
So today we are having the 63rd Annual High Plains Regional Science and Engineering Fair. We have such a wide range of projects here today. We have some engineering projects involving hoverboards. We have biological sciences projects that are involving grass-fed buffalo, and just a wide variety of projects that we see every year.
Very stressed. That's what I'm feeling like. I'm still trying to figure out my elevator speech, but that didn't really come together last year either until the first judge came around.
Your passion comes out when you get to talk about these things. Start with your passion, you know? And that's where all of this came from, is your heart.
Tell me about your research.
My family raises buffalo. We raise grass-fed buffalo because we believe in the cultural significance and the health benefits. But I want to use science to prove that to the rest of the world. And so to do that, I've started analyzing lipid content in buffalo and beef. I took these 4 meat samples, grain-fed and grass-fed buffalo and beef, and I extracted the lipids from the meat. And I performed thin layer chromatography on them to actually separate out the different lipid components. So as you can see, grain-fed beef exhibited the greatest amount of bad fats and the least amount of good fats, and vice versa for the buffalo meat. So all this research ends up proving that grass-fed buffalo meat is really healthy and high in omega-3s and omega-6 and low in these saturated fats, and you should totally be eating this, which makes sense as I'm trying to talk about the Native American diabetes epidemic in a traditional diet. My dad always talks about how buffalo, they don't get sick. And it's because they know how to find those medicinal plants that are native to the area. And I want to do research that proves traditional knowledge that we have with modern science. The possibilities are endless.
You guys have any questions for her? What did you guys think of her project?
I got one question.
Yeah.
How do you say buffalo in Lakota?
Tatanka.
Not bad.
It's all right.
Did you know that she was native?
No, it's okay. That's what I wrote my whole college essay about. I saw Grayson's here. Is he? Yeah. I saw him here, and I was like, I did not prepare for you this year.
I'm working on a project with superconductors, and it won't levitate unless it's below that temperature.
Were you able to go that low?
We used liquid nitrogen, which is about 77 Kelvin.
I really wanted to find a project that I could try to tie in my passion for buffalo and my family's belief in the cultural significance and the health benefits.
Don't put these lines. Just keep it like a clear graph.
Less numbers.
Less numbers.
Keep that the same as well. Right.
Nice talking with you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
I really shredded apart my graph, my elementary school bar graph.
Morning, everybody. Did you guys have fun today?
I know when I saw you here earlier, I was like, oh no. Why?
The judges are reviewing your projects during post-judging.
All right. Good talking to you.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you. Good luck to you as well. I'm gonna go sit down.
Yeah, so am I.
They're just ripping out everything here because this is what the firewall's got to go in, and they're gonna cut the cement for water and electric. So this is our future Café Gojo kitchen. What I'm excited about is to see what this kitchen and what this dining room create, you know, because it's gonna become its own living organism, you know? You know, I had to survive addiction and incarceration and death and all that stuff to get to this point, you know? I had to survive it, literally had to live it to be able to get to do this small project, you know? And it's a big project, but it's a small project, you know? And this kitchen will be real tiny and outlandish to our own community, but our people need to see what's possible with Apache Foodways.
Get that close to the way, man. They were here, they all come out.
Oh, jeez. Where'd you get your rat at?
Now this one I got from near Takalai Lake in the mountains. So then we just put it in here. I'm very selective of where I get these because you look at the surrounding area, like they kind of live like within a 25-foot radius. So in that radius, if there's medicine plant, medicine berries, I know they're eating it. So a lot of the medicine we can't eat. If we grab and eat it, it'll get us sick or either something. These guys eat it, but it filters through their body. And so it has a healing component in it.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, and when you go after these, you only want to hit on the head, so you won't ruin the body.
How long was it cooking?
It cooked until you can pull the tail and the fur falls off.
Was that half an hour, hour?
About 15 minutes. 30?
That one was more, I think.
Yeah, maybe 30.
30.
Okay, now see, this is how it's supposed to be. See how soft?
Yeah.
Okay, now try that.
I'm trying to think of what it's like without saying chicken, but it's like chicken.
Oh yeah, quail.
Man.
This is really
Soft,
nice.
man.
Yeah, now this is what you want.
Chicken.
It does.
Is this some chicken now?
How's most of like the community members down in St. Carlos, how they respond to some of this stuff?
Well, I took a group of women out last Thursday. They really enjoyed it. These are women that are so stressed from work. They went out there, they had a ball. It's like watching a soccer game. I mean, they were running and screaming and throwing rocks and sticks.
You introduced it to any white dude chefs?
No.
No? Cool. You should. I was teasing.
No. I don't know. I think some things just stay in its own region.
Yeah?
Because this food source will not be accepted out there. But it's accepted in our community.
So when you see something like this, it wakes you up.
Yeah.
So chicken can sick lah.
Like-
It wakes you up.
You know, as you think about it, it's even emotional because you think of all these Apache relatives throughout history hunting and cooking these, you know? And it's making me question how humble I really am, you know? Like, am I really humble when it comes down to eating and cooking and appreciating, you know? Like, it's kind of making me think, like, I really don't know anything still, you know? You know, it's nothing until you get your first taste of gloscho.
This is the best part. Okay, you're gonna like this. Here you go, Nephi.
Yeah, it's good to be. Our car, it kind of like blew up this morning when we're all getting ready. We think we blew a head gasket. That's probably what happened. So when we usually go to events, we're always like maybe 10, 15 minutes late. But it is kind of hard getting a bigger group of young men together. Some would say it's like herding wild cats. Uh-oh, these guys.
Hey.
How's it going?
We showed up, crewed up, Natty.
Good job.
You guys bring those receipts?
Yes, yes I did.
Ah, good. Some new faces, I like that.
Yeah.
What's going on, you guys? Finally, the receipts. Oh my gosh, Sammy.
You guys make yourself
Oh, our accountant's gonna kill you.
I have, that's most of them.
The hardest thing about these guys do amazing work, but it's hard to get them to bring their receipts back.
Yeah.
If Sammy and I write a grant for $5,000, I know that Sammy's gonna do $15,000 worth of grant work. I just hope that I can get at least $5,000 of receipts to show.
Yeah.
So while we've got that grant that we got just recently, I talked to the bookkeeper. We can get you the check right now and keep trucking, keep doing the good work, man. These new guys, they're learning a little bit about Ancestral Guard today. And
Yes, today the kids, we went to a little bit of the Clam River cleanup.
excellent. You guys, we should look at some pictures of the trip real quick.
Oh, yeah.
So this is about how we went over to the Amazon to fight against the Belo Monte Dam with the indigenous people there that kind of knew that the dam was gonna destroy the river.
These people thought there were only indigenous people left on Earth. And it's easy to feel like that sometimes. So we have to find other people like us, to find other people who can benefit from the work that we're doing. Because when we come together, it's acknowledging that there's people out there all over the world that are fighting for their resources and their rights to live healthy lifestyles.
We have this machete right here that we got back from our trip from Malaysia that we went over there because they're trying to build a dam over there and that would flood out 20,000, I think, indigenous people over there. And they brought like an activists from all around the world and we got the opportunity to be a part of that. Here's one of the things that we brought back, and that's a machete. And that's made from their indigenous people over there, so that's pretty amazing.
And again, when you look at this stuff, just remember that. Like, these are really awesome things, but what they represent and the story that they tell is even more amazing.
One thing that kind of like struck my mind in Malaysia, they had these dugout boats, and the whole bottom of the boat was dug out just like our traditional Yurok boats. But they said back in the day when they had bigger logs, their whole boat was one piece, just like ours. But now they have nothing but small trees, so they make like planks on the sides and slap them on the bottom dugout. So it kind of like made me think of if they keep chopping our redwood trees, that could be in our future.
So that's why it's important. That's why I like these things, and it kind of reminds me every time I come here to look at these and think like, this is only the beginning, because you guys are all just young men. And just wait till you're like Frank Lara one day telling another group of boys about it. What are you gonna tell them? You know what I mean? What are you gonna say? How did you fight for what you have?
I would stress out a little bit because I'm like, I don't want to spend my entire interview talking about different solvents that I use. But I think the whole purpose of doing the research is what you saw and what that could mean, more importantly. You're right on.
Good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing today? Good? Big round of applause for your teachers and your parents. The decision between our runner-up and our first place qualifier for the International Fair was very, very tough. So congratulations to both of you. Our runner-up qualifier is Grayson Nelson, Sturgis Brown High School. And the first place qualifier is Elsie Dubray, Timberlake High School. Congratulations to all of our award winners. Thanks again for coming. As I drive by.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Hold me close.
Good job, my girl.
We'll see us through. Mother Earth, Father safe tonight. Mother Earth, Father Sky, let us sleep safe tonight. Mother Earth, Father Sky, let us sleep safe tonight. Mother.
Moment of truth, man. First fire in this place. Flowers. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah, isn't it amazing?
Beautiful. I just so emotional.
Yeah, right? This is so cool. Hey, how are you doing? Yeah. Get two more. Get two more of these.
They're really busy. We'll
Get two
stand
more
right
of those,
here, but
and then make it
oh, look at
six,
them.
Okay. Let's go say hi. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Why don't you everybody come on over? This is a very special time for all of us. So we want to welcome you all to coming out to the first run of our kitchen and our equipment here in Café Gaujon. We just want to offer simple, from-scratch cooking and expand food vocabulary so that people can begin to make new choices. And you'll see. Let us know how it goes. But what we're going to do is start putting out a bunch of dishes, okay? We've got some acorn stew. We got some dejinji.
It's really good.
Good. You got the flavor.
Yes.
We're going to do like one of them that we call our Apache dip. It'll be a steak sandwich with a green chili on a banditane, and then with a cup of acorn stew so you can dip it, you know what I mean? But you guys can share that, please. And then we'll do some quinoa salad. Supporting community agriculture is an extremely huge part of our community's vitality and recovery process. These are nice and hot. Think what our ancestors are thinking. Like we've got this amazing little cafe in this old beat up gas station, right? And we're celebrating Apache foodways in a kitchen that was built by Apaches for Apaches. So the cafe is a living example of food sovereignty in action. You know, put a little on the top of the fritter. Somewhere where they'll pop agave, chili flakes, popped amaranth, and frozen berries. Go, go, go. Yeah. Make some for the whole party. How about that? Chef, you want to go grab a little bit of snow? Okay. So I'm running out the changkuje for the chef's table. So we got some changkuje slushies here. So we packed it in snow, a little bit of river stone, some juniper, and then we strained it, and then we poured it over ice and then blended it. So go ahead and dig in, taste it. Pretty good stuff.
I love it. That's my favorite.
This tastes pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Again?
Thanks, Angel.
We were a little
little bit worried when we found out we were going to have this little boy, and it was scheduled to be around the same time as the opening of the cafe, and it was like, how are we going to handle both babies at the same time? And you know, somehow it worked out that Rowley came first, and now the cafe is on its way, and it's been a long process, but we know that it takes time for really beautiful things to be made.
There's a cool guy right there. Sorry.
Yeah, he's listening.
I feel like I've been guided by the mountains and learned a lot along the way. And it's really cool because, you know, I'll be 39 this year and it's just beginning. Like, it's really neat. So, from a personal standpoint, I don't think I could have arrived at this without going through everything that has happened.
Oh, jeez, look at that.
Wow.
Oh, God.
You guys were the last people to be contacted, and we're the first people to be contacted. And we were hit first, almost 400 years first, you know, and then they started to move. Meanwhile, they're desecrating communities and ruining the lands. And so sort of this idea of Thanksgiving, if you will, that came from here, you know, around Cape Cod. And now we all are deciding collectively that we don't want that story to continue, and we're sort of tired of pretending that that was the truth.
Yeah.
It doesn't serve anyone anymore, and it's nice that non-natives are also accepting the fact that this is false too.
The story of colonization seems to be the same. They take what they like and they put their own spin on it. And that's kind of what we see happen, you know, with the turkey on the table and the Thanksgiving and inviting the indigenous people over, because that's what's been taught in schools and even over in California. But now, like you said, we start to see people are acknowledging that, yes, it is the indigenous values of your people that even allowed America to thrive. And we feel like we're alone because we're so secluded up there in Northern California. But look, all the way across the United States, we come here and I find these values that, you know, make me feel right at home. You know, we have a fire right here, makes us feel right at home.
We're literally on two different coasts. So I appreciate the journey that you guys took to come and share your story.
Our ancestors fought through genocide. They fought through that trauma. And not only did they survive that trauma, they passed down knowledge that built the societies that we're built on today. So this knowledge that has been passed down for thousands of years can be accessed and it can be applied to your daily life, no matter where you are, no matter where you're from, because the Industrial Revolution is over. Now, if we want to survive, if we want to carry on life on Earth, we need to be a part of the restorative revolution. And whatever that looks like to you, just make sure you get your hours in.
Our ancestors saw the world end once. That whole life way's gone. Now we're on the other side of the apocalypse.
But we still are very much in resistance today. We see it with political movements like Standing Rock and Bears Ears, fighting for water rights and fighting for hunting rights. And maintaining our foodways is our own battle to fight for our human rights. We still hold dear these traditions of farming and agriculture and generosity that are attached to these practices. And so I feel like we're experiencing a profound and wonderful and amazing return to those concepts and ideals.
It's this movement among all indigenous people that they're listening, they're feeling this, they hear it, and it's like music. When you hear the drum, it's calling you. And I feel that from all different cultures, they hear the same drum, and it's Mother Earth, and Mother Earth's heart's beating, and she's talking to all of us that we need to do something.
What I believe to be my life's purpose and the goals I have for myself and for my career and the things I want to pursue, it all comes from right here. And that's not going to change. I think the connection's pretty deep.
I will say you can take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl.
Yeah, country is not the right word, I don't think.
Go, but don't forget your home. The love you have always known is waiting to see